welcome to episode 49 of the Breaking Yarn podcast. My name is Michaeli. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting, my crocheting, and my yarn dyeing. You can find me online at breakingyarn.com or anywhere on social media at Breaking Yarn. It has been nearly 5 months since I have recorded a podcast. There has been a lot going on in my personal life and things that have just prevented me from being able to record. I also lost my knitting mojo there for a little bit, so I wasn't even really knitting. I will do a full life update and answer all of the questions that you had asked on Instagram later on in this episode, so please stick around for that if you are interested in any of the life update stuff. And I will also do a timeline at the bottom of this video, so if you want to skip ahead or you want to skip that section, you can do that by just jumping around at the bottom of the video. Okay, so let's jump into my FOs. I have 4 finished objects. I had to go back and watch episode 48 to see what was I working on before the end of this podcasting era that I did at the end of 2022. So I have a few finished objects to share with you. The first one are my Zebra Yarns Advent socks. I knit these for the 2022 Zebra Yarns Advent. It's where you knit 1 stripe every day starting on Christmas Day, and then you end right after the new year. And this is hosted by Anna of Zebra Yarns. And the pattern I used for this is the Twisted Staircase socks. This is by Heather of Craft Nut Yarns. And it was a really fun pattern where you slip diagonally. I don't know if it's coming out, but it goes all the way around to the leg and then down the front of the sock. So that was a really fun pattern to do. Since this ended after the new year, I was able to enter these into the Adventurely Mal 2023 that myself and Leah from Leah Loves to Knit hosted. And is finished now. Sorry, I completely missed podcasting during that entire time. Anyways, I already sent off all the prizes and those should be getting there soon. I was delayed on those, getting those out as well, but such is life, right? So that's FO number 1. Then my second finished object that you haven't seen finished yet is my Ravello Sweater. It's looking a little blown out on here. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've done this and my settings are probably off. And I only have a short window before my husband comes back with my daughter. So I love the pooling right here on the sleeve. That's so fun. I have not worn this yet. It's a little warm here now, but I have a new sweater for the fall. Let me tell you about the yarn that I used. This is all from Haute Bohème Fibers. And I got these yarns at the Taos Wool Festival when it was still called the Taos Wool Festival. Man, it must have been in 2020. Is that right? October of 2020 or October of 2021? I think it was October of 2021 actually. But this top color is called Magic. And then the variegated color was called Never Ending Story. And finally the orange at the bottom is called Adversary. And I knit stripes out of them. So I did 4 stripes with the Magic and Adversary, and then 4 stripes with the orange color. And I love how it turned out. I can't wait. Actually, I realized I never even posted FO photos or anything, so I need to do that. But that is my finished object number 2. Then it's been a while but I finished my Walter White socks design, and I have a small issue that I'm working on, but I'm not sure how I want to resolve yet. This doesn't even fit on my sock blocker very well. I don't know. Here, let me just show it to you off the blocker, I think. So this is my Walter White socks design. It has what I think it looks like a double helix, and that's for Walter White because he was a chemistry teacher. And I also knit this in the Walter White colorway as well. So that runs all the way down the front of the leg and front of the foot. And I just did a slip stitch heel on that. And a 2x2 ribbing. And I just did a rounded toe, and I think I talked about this last episode, but I'm super glad that I did too, because it kind of carried the cable. It like gave space for the cable to like continue up into the toe area, which was really fun. So I finished those, and I have finished those actually quite a while ago. Geez, I don't know when I finished these, but quite a while ago. The issue I'm having, this is my first time designing with a cable, and it kind of pulls it in a little bit more than I was like, I don't know, anticipating or hoping for maybe. So I think it looks so cool. Sorry. When I try it on, it fits, and it fits fine. It's a little stretched out in certain areas though that I don't like. And so I'm trying to think, like, before I write the pattern up and get testers and like do all of that, I want to make sure that, well, I guess I can't say one part until the life update, but I don't know if it's an issue with me right now or if it's an issue with the pattern. And so I'm debating if I want to knit another pair with maybe a few extra stitches and just see if that helps with fit at all, because I don't want it to be like super stretched or anything like that on your foot, but I also don't know if it's an issue with me, so I don't want to just go through testing and then find out it was an issue with the pattern and not just me. So maybe I'll have my friend Lisa try them on and just see how they fit her, because I think she usually knits a size 64 stitch. It'll obviously be long on the foot for her, but maybe they'll fit her better, and I can kind of get an idea from that if they would fit, or if I need to like tweak the pattern a little bit to add a few stitches, just because it kind of cinches in a little bit. So more to come on that. One of the questions I've gotten was if I was going to design more sock patterns, excuse me, and the answer is yes. I'm getting stumped on this part, and I don't like when I'm stumped creativity and mentally, like I have a hard time moving past it and like just like forgetting about it. I don't want to forget about it, so I kind of force myself to finish the design I have in progress first, and then I'll start another design. So that's where I am with Walter White socks, and I hope to have those done, like the pattern figured out and done soon. I have one more finished object. Let me just put them on my sock blockers so they're nice and cute for you. It's the first time you've even seen this knitted up. Yeah, let's show you these. So I finished my Snowy Cottage socks. This is a pattern by Dana Ray Makes, and this yarn is by Mandy's Makings, and it was from the winter whimsical winter winter box. Maybe it was called a whimsical winter box. And the did I already say the pattern is called Snowy Cottage? Snowy Cottage socks. I don't remember if I said that, sorry. And the yarn was like a share a pair, and I actually gave away the other share a pair set on my unboxing video, and I'll be doing that again soon for the summer box. So please subscribe so you don't miss that opportunity to win that yarn package. Yeah, so that's that. These are really fun to knit. It's a fun and engaging pattern that keeps your interest. I actually did the heel on one side, and then on the other one I did on the other side, which is kind of funny actually. I've never done that, so technically they go like that, but so that the seams are like both on the same side. But I've never done that, and I don't know like what got into me, and I don't know if I was having like a brain freeze or something, but I just couldn't get past. Like I was like, where do I put the heel on a sock? And it had been a while since I had knit a sock, so I was like, I don't know where to put this. And so I think one ended up being following the pattern, and one ended up being what I normally do. So that was kind of funny, but all right, I have one whip that I want to show. And I basically just have one whip. This is, actually, I don't think you've seen this either, because I started this not that long ago. Sorry, I'm sitting on a pillow and it keeps moving on me. I might have to readjust here a second. All right. This is also not going to be my normal podcasting background. I'll explain more in my update section, but just so you know. All right, this is my Stria Cardigan. This is my Stria Cardigan. I am past the sleeves, quite a bit past the sleeves actually. And this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry of Dre Renee Knits, and I am loving this pattern. It's so much. It's so fun. It's so fun to knit. It's a half fisherman's rib, and it's the first time I've ever done half fisherman's rib, but it's so fun. So for the yarn, what I'm using is I'm using this silver color that I created for my shop called Coin Flip is Sacred. It's a line by Jesse Pinkman, and I just love it. It's like the perfect silvery neutral for this. Like, love it. And then the contrasting colors, I'm using my 2022 Leap of Faith Yarns Advent for it. So I'm just using one mini for each day. So, oops, this got a little tangled here. So this is like an example of one of the minis that I have all of them wound up, and I only have 3, is that right? No, 4 more stripes to add in, and then I'll be done with the body. So far I've done 20 days worth of striping. So each day is 1 stripe. And it does leave me with quite a bit of yarn. Some of it I will need for the sleeves, so that's good. And the rest of it, I'm not sure like how much I'll have left after doing sleeves. But some of it, like the ones that aren't gonna be in the sleeves, like all of these, I think it's 10 colors. Like I'm gonna have a lot left of those because they were like less stitches. They're not going to be in the sleeves, so they're not going to be used again. So I'll have to figure out another project to put them in. But I'm loving this. It's basically the only thing I'm working on right now. So I've been taking it with me, like in the car and like different places and stuff, which is funny because it's a big project and I wouldn't usually take like such a large project somewhere, but oh wells. Okay, so that's it for the knitting stuff. Actually, let me do acquisitions. I did Like I mentioned, I did purchase the Donut Delight summer box from Mandy's Makings. They launched on Friday. I don't know if they are still available in her shop or if they're all sold out. But I snagged one, and I will be giving away the second set of the Share a Pair yarn on my unboxing video that will come out when I receive the yarn. So I think I think it comes out at the end of June, she said. So it's still a little bit ways out, but I have a feeling it's going to be super cute. I'm excited to see the pattern that comes with it as well, and I'll see if Dana is willing to gift another sock pattern to the winner for that as well. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video and you can enter to win. Also, I just wanted to mention that my friend Leah of Leah Loves to Knit, she's the one who hosts the Advent Make Along with me every year. She just came out with her very first sock pattern. It's called the Daisy Chain Socks. And I picked up that pattern yesterday, and it's super cute. It has like a little like daisy motif in between stripes. And in her sample, she used Lily of the Valley and Skylar White, which looks so cute together. Like it looks so cute in this design. And I hope to have my shop reopened. It's been closed for a little while, and I'm hoping to have it like reopened hopefully by next week sometime. I've been trying to dye up yarn, and I don't want to reopen my store with it being very bare. Like I don't know if you can see it on my background, but this is all of the fingering weight for sock yarn that I have right now in stock, which is not a lot. Lots of colorways are missing. And then I have some quarter round DK. I have quite a bit of DK, Swish DK, and then sock DK. So I probably will just focus on dyeing sock fingering weight yarn. It's the most popular anyways, and I've been dyeing up some yarn for the Breaking Bad store as well to restock them. So, all right, let's move into your questions and kind of a life update. So one of the big questions I've gotten has just been like a generic, like, where have you been? And you guys have been so sweet too, being like, we miss you, we're thinking about you, like praying for you, and just like so sweet reaching out and like, hey, where have you been? Because I like literally stopped posting on Instagram. I didn't do any YouTube videos. Like my shop has been closed. So it's definitely been like a weird time. But let's just say, let me just start with the where have you been question, because it's very large and it's hard to answer it with just one simple thing. So on January 3rd, I found out that I'm pregnant. And I know that's a sensitive topic for some people, and I'm so sorry. But it's also something to be celebrated, and it's something, you know, that should be celebrated, and it's a blessing, and I totally do not take that for granted. Sorry, I don't want to start crying. I do not take it for granted that I am able to have kids, and I have my daughter. She's 3.5, and now we're going to be having a little boy. I am I'm emotional. I'm 22 weeks pregnant right now, and I'm due in September. So it's gonna be so fun. Things have been a little bit more challenging though, because at least I wasn't, you know, I get very sick with my pregnancies, and like nauseous, like morning sickness all day thing, and just like I've been having a lot of pain, like physical pain, and so it's just been a little bit of a rough time, but I still do not take it for granted. I'm super excited. We're super excited to be having a little baby join us and to be finishing our family. Honestly, this is it for me. After this, like I can't do it again. Let's just say I'm a little older, you know, and it's just been a little bit more difficult on my body than I'm used to, but we're super excited. So that's news number one. But when I was 7 weeks pregnant, I fell down the stairs at my old house and I had sprained my ankle really bad, and luckily everything was fine with the baby. That was like my main concern when I fell down the stairs. And Lisa, like, so my husband wasn't home and he was out to lunch with his friends and my daughter. He took her with him. So I was completely alone, and I called Lisa, and I like never call Lisa on the phone. So she was like, what is going on? And I was like, I just fell down the stairs. And she like came over right away and helped me like get into my husband's chair and like got me pillows and ice and like my food that I was trying to make because I was like hungry and nauseous. It was just a mess. So she's such a sweet friend, and I was super thankful for her. But it also meant that I had to wear a air cast for 6 weeks. I couldn't walk around the house at all. I couldn't dye yarn at all. I didn't want to, like, I was already feeling sick, and then like to have a sprained ankle on top of it and not being able to walk was like really hard for me. So I kind of stopped posting from there. I didn't want to like push anything and you know, make more work for myself or make myself overwhelmed with any of that. So that happened. There were some sicknesses in my family. My husband got really sick, and then my daughter got really sick, and then my husband got really sick with that too, like during all this time. And she was supposed to have open heart surgery in Stanford in March, and it got delayed because she got sick and her surgeon said no. Which was like heartbreaking all on its own. I'm so thankful they do it for her safety and for her health and to like make sure she's good. And I totally appreciate that and like love that. But like logistically, it's such a pain to move, like, and pause. We had paused our lives. We had quarantined. Like, we had done so much to like prep for it. We had packed up our house. Like, we weren't prepared for them to cancel it. And so it just kind of like, I don't know. I felt like we were being punished for being honest about her having a upper respiratory infection. And like, I mean, it is what it is, but it postponed her surgery. And so that made it a little bit more difficult with our timeline. So when we packed to move, we had delays with our house being finished. So it kind of pushed our timeline a little bit. Like, we didn't have enough time to set up the new house before leaving for California when her surgery got rescheduled to. And we turned our old house into a short-term rental, so we had to like furnish it, and like we focused all of our energy on getting that set up before we left so that it could potentially at least make some profit while we were out of town in California. So our current house that we're living in is a mess. But yeah. So then my daughter had surgery in California. She did end up having surgery. One of the questions that I got was, how is your daughter, if you don't mind me asking? And I definitely don't mind you asking. She's doing very well. Thank you so much for everybody who prayed for her. It's always a scary time. I don't want to start crying again. Holy crap. It's always a scary time seeing your kid under anesthesia, seeing them intubated, seeing them all the things, right? Like, and it's such a large thing. But I do want to share a small testimony with you, or like a miracle that happened. So we went out to California. She was scheduled to have 2 surgeries. One was a heart cath. They just want to like, you know, see how she's doing, check out her pressures, kind of map it out for the surgeon on the one who's going to be doing the open heart surgery, just so he has a good picture of what he's going to be doing when he opens her chest and goes in. And So she had that surgery, and she had her heart cath surgery, and the surgeon said she looks amazing, that her stents and her pressures and everything looked so good, that they weren't recommending her to have the open heart surgery yet to replace her valve. So we were very shocked, like, are you sure? Like, are you sure this is like really happening and she doesn't need it? Because we didn't want to, like, you know, it's your kid. You want to make sure that they're being taken care of. And we were at Stanford, so we know that it's a very good hospital for kiddos. And so I'm sure for adults too, but I only know from kiddos. So we were really shocked, but we were also really thankful. And like, maybe it's just like the timing of it isn't good. And like, we did have a lot going on. So to not have to add open heart surgery right now to that was like amazing. It was amazing. So we took it as a small miracle, and she will still need the surgery in the future. Surgery is not a cure for congenital heart disease. It just isn't, and it does, like, obviously it prolongs their life, but it doesn't take it away, you know. So, you know, please continue to keep us in your prayers, because it'll continuously be a problem. But we're thankful that we don't have to deal with it for a few years now, hopefully. That's what they said. 2 to 3 years is what they're expecting, and then she'll be a lot bigger by then too, which will help, because then she can get a larger valve, and hopefully she won't need to have as many surgeries when she has a larger valve. So, okay. That's basically it. I've been trying to unpack. Our house, like I said, is a mess. Like, this is not my podcasting background. I have IKEA stuff I need to put together. It's slowly coming together. I am putting my studio space together. In this house, we have a extra garage space, and I'm super excited for that. So I've been working on getting that set up. I'm filming a little vlog about getting it set up. Just kind of some challenges that I'm running into a little bit. It's a whole new thing. So you'll see that video sometime soon. All right, so I got a few other questions that were not personal life related. So I just wanted to go ahead and answer those as well. The first one is, what inspired you to become a knitter, and what inspired you to become a dyer? So I've always been a very creative person, and I used to think that being creative wasn't a talent, because I just thought everybody could be creative. Everybody could create things and could use their hands and could see something and then make it happen. I just thought everyone could do that. And so I didn't think it was special. I didn't think that it was unique enough or anything like that. But I've come to learn that it totally is. It's a talent. It is something that not everyone can do. So I guess, like, inspired me to become a knitter. Like, I just was very interested in learning all the things, and I already knew how to crochet, but my friend Vanessa, I think I talked about this before, like, we learned how to knit in our early 20s. Her aunt taught us before she passed away with cancer. And then when I moved to my neighborhood, I joined a knitting group with Lisa. That's how I met Lisa and some other people in the neighborhood, and it just really, like, sparked my love for knitting. I learned so much, and I felt like with the knitting community there, I could try things, and I knew that they would help me if I run into any issues, and they did. That's how I learned how to knit socks. It's how I learned how to knit cables. I learned new cast on techniques, like all kinds of things that I never thought. I never knit like a sweater or anything garment related before then. And it kind of gave me just the confidence in knowing that I had help if I needed it. So I don't know if that really answers your question. But what inspired me to become a dyer was that I went to a yarn dyeing party with my friend Lisa again, and her like other knitting group that she had. And I never even knew that hand-dyed yarn was a thing before then. And so it was really fun and exciting and new to me. Even though there have been dyers and de-dyers around for a while, it was all new to me. And so it just opened a new world for me, and it really brought, I really feel like it brought my love for knitting like full circle, because now I can dye yarn and then knit with it. And so you take something from like a raw state and then you change it and then you change it again, and then it becomes like a thing. And I just think that's so cool. And that's what inspired me to become a dyer, was going to that party and dyeing that yarn for the first time. I was gonna see if I had my skein, my very first skein of yarn that I ever dyed, but I don't know where it is. So that's that. What's the most surprising thing that knitting has brought into your life? A community, a set of friends that I never would have had without them, without knitting. All of my Instagram friends, YouTube friends, honestly, like being able to meet them in real life and have so much in common and have so many like commonalities, and just being able to relate to other people and meeting people online is like kind of funny, but that's really, it's been so surprising to me that there was like a whole community out there that I could connect with in person too. And I just think that's really fun, and it's really needed. You know, it's needed to find your people. It's needed to find your community and your tribe and whatever you want to call it. Your friend group. It's really like important to have all those things. So that's the most surprising thing for me. Oh, do you have more plans for sock patterns? Yes, I do. I will be coming out with the Walter White sock pattern as soon as I figure out, if the issue is with me, I mean, because my like feet are swollen. And I don't know if that's like messing with my perception of the pattern being off, or if they really are off. And I just don't want to, I might knit another sock just to like test it out. I don't want to find out that it's an issue with the pattern and not my feet right now. So yes, I do have more plans to make more sock patterns. I have more characters that I would love to cover, and maybe more themes as well that run throughout the show. I'm rewatching Breaking Bad, so the energy, like juices, the creativity juices are just flowing, the ideas are flowing. Like, I'm so excited, and yeah, I hope to have out more soon. That one was, how is your daughter? If you don't mind sharing. So I did share about her as well, and her surgery, and she's doing really well right now. So we'll just continue to watch her at our local hospital, and go from there. You know, we'll go back to Stanford when it's time to go back to Stanford, and have her surgery when it's time to have her surgery. So thank you for continuing to pray for her. Yeah, like I said already, it's a lifetime thing. It's not a cure. There is no cure for congenital heart disease. So the last question that I got is, what is the best heel with no holes for beginner sock makers? Multiple suggestions are welcomed. So if you are new to sock knitting, I think you should start with the slip stitch heel flap and gusset. And that's just my own personal opinion, but I feel like that's the easiest heel flap construction, I guess. If you are new to sock making, that was the first one I started with, and it was a little tricky to like understand how the construction of it works. But once you get it down, like I think that's the easiest one to do. And for me personally, this may be wrong, and I don't know, but this is what I do, okay? When I'm picking up the sides of my gusset, I do not count. And I know, like, you know, the pattern will say for your size, pick up 16 or something, but I just pick up however many I feel I need to pick up so there aren't any holes. Especially in that like transition area where the gusset ends and you're picking up like the front of your, like right where your like front of your sock starts. Pick up an extra stitch, pick up an extra 2 stitches. It's not gonna make a difference. Like, as long as they're on the gusset side of your heel and your sock, then you can decrease a little bit more. If it's uneven at all, you can decrease one side at the end. However you need to do it, it will work out fine. So that is my biggest tip, is to not count and just to pick them up and pick up what you think you need, especially in that corner where you are like picking up your gusset and then moving into the front of your sock. Just don't count. And that might be bad advice, but that's what I do. I don't count. And then when I get there and I'm like, oh, let me see how many like stitches I have left and how many more decreases I need to do. Like, I'll just count them and they go, okay, I need to do a few more or whatever, a few more rounds or whatever it is. But I don't really pay attention to like, oh no, I picked up 18 instead of 16. And like, it doesn't matter. Even if I picked up 17, I don't care. Like, I will knit a decrease on one side, if that's the case. And then the other tip is that if you're using a contrast yarn like this one, or like this one, like you're gonna have ends to weave in on the heel, right? Because like you used a different yarn, so there's gonna be a stop and an end point on that heel. And my suggestion would be to just weave your ends in a little bit tighter in the corners. You can kind of sew up any holes that you have. Like you can sew up any holes that you have when you're sewing in your ends. So use weaving ends to your advantage. I know it's like a big like joke that everyone hates to weave in their ends, but if you can use it towards your advantage to like sew up a little hole or something, do it. So those are my 2 big tips for beginner sock knitters. Start with the slip stitch heel flap. Pick up however many stitches you feel you need to along the gusset, including that corner, and then weave in your ends. Like if you're using a contrast, weave in your ends a little bit more in the corner to sew up any holes that there may have been. So those are my tips. And this will conclude episode 49 of the Breaking Yarn podcast. Thank you so much for joining me for the knitting, for the life. It's been a lot of life lately, but I hope to be getting back into a more stable and steady routine. And I hope that I can get my shop opened back up with a little bit more inventory than what I have now. But it also all depends on how things are going around here and how I'm feeling physically. And that's basically it. But thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a blessed day and week. Bye.